There's a moment that happens when you walk into a room with dangerous confidence. People stop mid-conversation. Eyes turn toward you, not because you're loud or flashy, but because there's something undeniable in the way you carry yourself. An energy that says, I know exactly who I am, and I'm not asking for your approval. This isn't the fake confidence you see on social media. This isn't the bravado of someone trying to convince themselves they matter. This is something deeper, something magnetic, something that makes opportunities gravitate toward you without you chasing them. Dangerously confident people don't just believe in themselves. They've eliminated doubt so completely that hesitation doesn't even exist as an option. They move through the world with a certainty that's both captivating and intimidating. And here's what most people don't understand. This level of confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build deliberately through specific practices and mindset shifts. Let me tell you what dangerous confidence is not. It's not arrogance. Arrogant people need to prove they're better than others. Dangerously confident people have nothing to prove. It's not recklessness. Reckless people ignore consequences. Dangerously confident people understand consequences and move forward anyway. It's not dominance. Dominant people need to control others. Dangerously confident people are so secure in themselves that they have no need to control anyone. So, what is dangerous confidence? It's the ability to walk into any situation and know that regardless of the outcome, you'll be fine. It's the capacity to take massive risks without the paralyzing fear of failure. It's the power to speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. It's the strength to stand alone when everyone else is sitting down. Think about someone you know who has this quality. Maybe it's a colleague who always seems calm in crisis situations. Maybe it's a friend who can start conversations with anyone. Maybe it's that person who left a stable career to pursue their passion and never looked back. What makes them different isn't talent or luck. It's that they've developed an internal foundation so solid that external circumstances can't shake it. I'm going to be direct with you. Most people will never develop dangerous confidence because they're not willing to do what it requires. They want the results without the work. They want the presence without the practice. They want the certainty without confronting their fears. If you're reading this, I'm betting you're not most people. Building dangerous confidence requires 3 things that most people avoid. Brutal honesty with yourself about where you actually are, willingness to be uncomfortable for extended periods, and commitment to taking action before you feel ready. These aren't pleasant requirements. They're not easy, but they're necessary. Here's what I've learned from studying the most confident people across every field. Confidence is a skill, not a trait. Every time you do something that scares you and survive, you get stronger. Every time you speak your truth and the world doesn't end, you get bolder. Every time you take a risk and handle the consequences, you become more certain. This book will build your confidence systematically, layer by layer. We'll eliminate self-doubt, develop decisive action, own your presence, maintain composure, build communication skills, develop physical confidence, strengthen mental toughness, create social fearlessness, handle criticism, master saying no, take bold risks, cultivate magnetic energy, and master your internal dialogue. But I need you to understand something. Reading this won't make you confident. Understanding the theory won't make you confident. The only thing that will make you dangerously confident is applying what you learn consistently, even when it's terrifying. Confidence is built in moments of discomfort, when every instinct says play it safe, and you choose to be bold anyway. When you're facing rejection, and you put yourself out there anyway. When you're surrounded by doubt, and you trust yourself anyway. These moments are where dangerous confidence is forged. So here's my question. Are you ready to become someone who walks into rooms and changes the energy? Someone who takes risks that terrify others? Someone whose very presence communicates, I am not to be underestimated. If the answer is yes, then let's begin. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Right now. Because dangerously confident people don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. Chapter 1. The Dangerous Confidence Distinction. Regular confidence is believing you can handle most situations reasonably well. Dangerous confidence is knowing you can handle any situation, period. Regular confidence is feeling good about yourself when things are going well. Dangerous confidence is unshakable regardless of circumstances. The difference matters enormously. Two people walk into a job interview for a position they're underqualified for. The regularly confident person thinks, I'll do my best and hope it works out. The dangerously confident person thinks, by the end of this conversation, they'll be wondering how they can afford not to hire me. See the difference? One is hopeful. The other is certain. Dangerous confidence has 5 defining characteristics. First, it's unconditional. It doesn't depend on your circumstances, achievements, or others' opinions. It exists independently of external validation. You're confident in the boardroom and confident when you're broke. You're confident when people praise you and confident when they criticize you. Second, it's action-oriented. Dangerously confident people don't spend much time thinking about whether they can do something. They start doing it and figure it out along the way. While others are searching and planning, dangerously confident people are already 3 steps ahead because they took action immediately. Third, it's authentic. This isn't a performance. Dangerously confident people aren't trying to project confidence. They are confident. There's no gap between who they are and who they present themselves to be. This authenticity is what makes their confidence so powerful. Fourth, it's generous. The most dangerously confident people are often the most generous with praise and support. Why? Because they're not threatened by other people's success. They don't need to be the smartest person in the room to feel good about themselves. Fifth, it's tested. Dangerous confidence isn't theoretical. It's been proven in real situations with real stakes. You're confident because you have handled pressure repeatedly, and you know you can do it again. Let me tell you about 2 entrepreneurs. Both started companies. Both faced similar challenges. The first spent months overthinking every decision, seeking advice from everyone, trying to predict every outcome. His company took 3 years to launch, and by then, the market had moved on. The second built a minimum viable product in 6 weeks, launched it, got feedback, and iterated quickly. Her company was profitable within a year. Same intelligence, same resources, completely different levels of confidence. The dangerously confident entrepreneur wasn't more talented. She was more decisive. She understood something crucial. You can't think your way to certainty. You have to act your way to it. Every action you take, regardless of outcome, builds confidence. Every time you overthink and delay, you reinforce doubt. Here's what most people misunderstand. They think confidence comes from success. It doesn't. It comes from surviving failure. Dangerously confident people have failed more than most people have tried. They've been rejected more times than most people have asked. They've lost more than most people have risked. And each failure taught them, I'm still here. I survived. I can handle it. This is why dangerous confidence feels threatening to some people. It represents self-assurance that can't be easily shaken. You can't manipulate someone who doesn't need your approval. You can't intimidate someone who's comfortable with conflict. You can't control someone who's willing to walk away. Think about the most confident person you know personally. What makes them different? I'm willing to bet it's not that they're more successful or talented. It's that they're comfortable with themselves in a way most people aren't. They don't apologize for their presence. They don't shrink to make others comfortable. They take up space unapologetically. You can develop this. Dangerous confidence isn't reserved for a special class of people. It's available to anyone willing to build it. But you have to understand what you're building. You're not building a persona. You're building genuine internal certainty that comes from knowing yourself deeply and accepting yourself completely. Think about a situation that intimidates you. Maybe public speaking, maybe networking, maybe asking for a raise, maybe approaching someone you're attracted to. Now imagine yourself in that situation with complete certainty, not because you're guaranteed to succeed, but because you know that regardless of what happens, you'll handle it. That feeling is what we're building. The path requires 3 shifts. First, from external validation to internal validation. Stop caring whether others approve and start caring whether you approve of yourself. Second, from comfort-seeking to challenge-seeking. Stop avoiding discomfort and start seeing it as necessary fuel. Third, from outcome-focused to process-focused. Stop obsessing over results and start focusing on showing up fully, regardless of outcome. These shifts happen through repeated action in the face of fear, through consistently choosing courage over comfort, through building a track record of times you trusted yourself and it worked out, and times you trusted yourself and it didn't work out, but you survived anyway. Dangerous confidence is your natural state. It's not something foreign you need to acquire. It's something you need to remember and reclaim. Children have it naturally before the world teaches them to doubt. Your job isn't to become someone new. It's to remove the layers of conditioning and fear that have covered your natural confidence. This is why dangerous confidence feels like coming home. It's not a fake persona. It's the real you, finally unobstructed by doubt and fear. And once you taste it, once you experience what it feels like to move through the world with that level of certainty, you'll never want to go back. Chapter 2. Eliminating self-doubt at the root. Self-doubt is not your enemy. It's a symptom. The enemy is the belief system underneath it. Until you address that belief system, you'll be fighting self-doubt your entire life. Most confidence advice tells you to ignore self-doubt or replace it with positive affirmations. That's like putting fresh paint over rot. It might look better temporarily, but the underlying problem is still there. Dangerously confident people don't fight self-doubt. They've eliminated the conditions that create it. And those conditions are specific beliefs about themselves and the world. Once you change those beliefs, self-doubt doesn't arise in the first place. Let's identify the core beliefs that generate self-doubt. First, the belief that your worth is conditional, that you're only valuable if you meet certain criteria: success, attractiveness, intelligence, achievement. As long as you believe your worth is conditional, you'll doubt yourself whenever those conditions aren't met. The antidote: your worth is inherent. You're valuable because you exist, not because of what you achieve. This isn't a nice idea. It's a fact. Your worth cannot be diminished by failure or enhanced by success. It's constant. Second belief: mistakes are evidence of inadequacy. That when you fail, it means something about your fundamental capability. This belief makes every potential failure terrifying. The antidote: mistakes are data, not identity. When you fail, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you tried something that didn't work, which gives you information about what to try next. Edison didn't have 10,000 failures. He had 10,000 learning experiences. Third belief: other people's opinions define your reality. That if someone criticizes you, they must be right. This belief gives everyone else power over your confidence. The antidote: other people's opinions are reflections of their perspective, not objective truth. Someone's criticism tells you about their values and standards. It doesn't tell you about your worth. You can consider feedback without accepting judgment. Fourth belief: confidence comes from certainty about outcomes. That you should only act confidently when you're sure you'll succeed. This belief paralyzes you. The antidote. Confidence comes from certainty about your ability to handle outcomes, whatever they are. You're not confident because you know you'll succeed. You're confident because you know you'll be fine either way. Fifth belief. You need to be impressive to be acceptable. That your natural self isn't enough. So you need to perform or prove yourself. The antidote. Your natural self is not only enough, it's your greatest asset. Trying to be impressive is exhausting. Being genuinely yourself is effortless and magnetic. Now here's the challenging part. You probably intellectually agree with these antidotes, but intellectual agreement doesn't change deep beliefs. Your deep beliefs were formed through experiences and reinforced through repetition. To change them, you need new experiences that contradict them, repeated until the new belief becomes automatic. Here's a practical process. First, notice when self-doubt arises. Don't fight it. Just notice it. I'm experiencing self-doubt right now. This creates space between you and the doubt. Second, identify the specific belief generating that doubt. Ask, what would I have to believe for this doubt to make sense? Usually, it will be one of the 5 beliefs we discussed. Third, question that belief. Is it actually true? Where did you learn it? What evidence contradicts it? You're not trying to convince yourself of anything. You're genuinely investigating whether this belief holds up. Fourth, identify a more accurate belief. Not a positive affirmation you don't believe. An actually more accurate understanding. For example, instead of, I must never fail, try, I'll make mistakes as I learn. And that's how growth works. Fifth, take action based on the new belief, even while the old one still feels true. This is crucial. You can't think your way out of limiting beliefs. You have to act your way out. When you take action based on a more empowering belief, even if you don't fully believe it yet, you create evidence that contradicts the old belief. Let me give you an example. Sarah had paralyzing self-doubt about her intelligence. She believed she wasn't smart enough for her job. This was based on the belief that her worth was conditional on being the smartest person in the room. When she investigated this, she realized she'd learned it from a hypercritical parent. She identified a more accurate belief. Intelligence is one of many valuable qualities, and she has multiple valuable qualities, including creativity, empathy, and persistence. Then, even while still feeling doubt, she started contributing her ideas in meetings, not because the doubt went away, but despite it still being there. What happened? Some ideas were well received, some weren't, but she survived both outcomes. The world didn't end. Through repeated experience of sharing ideas and handling outcomes, her nervous system learned, I can handle this. My worth isn't on the line. Over 6 months, the doubt that used to be debilitating became just background noise. Self-doubt isn't a character flaw. It's not permanent. It's just the result of outdated beliefs you learned when you were young. And like any learned pattern, it can be unlearned through new experiences. The dangerously confident don't have less self-doubt because they're special. They have less self-doubt because they've examined and changed their core beliefs. They've built evidence through action that contradicts doubt-generating beliefs. You can do the same. It's not fast. It's not easy. But it's simple. Notice the doubt. Identify the belief. Question the belief. Choose a more accurate belief. Take action based on the new belief. Repeat until the old pattern loses its power. One more critical point. You don't need to eliminate all self-doubt to become dangerously confident. Dangerously confident people still experience moments of doubt. The difference is, they don't let doubt stop them from taking action. They feel the doubt and move forward anyway. Over time, this teaches their brain that doubt isn't a reliable indicator of danger. Think of self-doubt like a smoke alarm. Sometimes it signals real danger. More often, it's triggered by something harmless. When it goes off, you investigate, but you don't evacuate every time. That's how dangerously confident people relate to self-doubt. They notice it, consider whether it's signaling something important, and usually proceed anyway. Your assignment: spend 1 week tracking every time you experience self-doubt. Write down what triggered it and what belief must be underlying it. Just that awareness, without trying to fix anything, will start loosening doubt's grip. Chapter 3. The Power of Decisive Action. Dangerously confident people make decisions quickly, not recklessly. Quickly. They process information rapidly, trust their judgment, and commit without agonizing. This decisiveness is one of their most powerful characteristics. Every time you deliberate endlessly, you're training yourself in indecision. Every time you quickly make a choice and deal with consequences, you're training yourself in confidence. Your brain learns patterns from what you do repeatedly. Think about someone who can never decide where to eat, what to wear, what movie to watch. They're not inherently indecisive. They've practiced indecision so much it's become their default. Now think about someone who just picks something and moves on. They're not necessarily making better choices. They're making choices faster and spending zero mental energy on anxiety about whether it's optimal. The cost of indecision is massive but invisible. While you're deliberating, time passes. Opportunities close. Momentum dies. Energy drains. But because you can't see what could have happened if you decided quickly, you don't feel the loss. Dangerously confident people understand something crucial. Most decisions are reversible. You can choose a direction, gather information from actually moving in that direction, and adjust. This is almost always more effective than trying to choose the perfect direction through pure analysis. There's a concept in the military called the ODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. In combat, the person who can complete this loop fastest wins. The same principle applies to life. The person who can observe a situation, orient themselves, decide on action, and execute rapidly has an enormous advantage. Here's how to develop dangerous decisiveness. First, establish decision-making criteria in advance. Before you're in a decision situation, know what matters to you. What are your values? Priorities? Non-negotiables. When you have clear criteria established, decisions become faster because you're just checking options against pre-established criteria. For example, someone I know has a simple rule. If an opportunity doesn't excite him enough to say yes immediately, the answer is no. This eliminates hours of deliberation. Either it's an obvious yes or it's a no. Simple. Second, set time limits for decisions. Give yourself specific time based on the decision's importance. A restaurant choice, 30 seconds. A job offer, 24 hours. A major life decision, 1 week. When time is up, make the decision with whatever information you have. Third, practice making irrelevant decisions quickly. Choose your meal in 30 seconds. Pick your outfit in 60 seconds. Respond to texts within minutes instead of hours. These small decisions are perfect training ground because stakes are low, but the pattern you're building is valuable. Fourth, embrace the 80-20 rule. You can usually get 80% of relevant information with 20% of possible research time. The last 20% of information takes 80% of your time and rarely changes your decision. Learn to decide at 80% certainty. Fifth, commit fully once you decide. Don't hedge. Don't leave escape routes. Don't continue second-guessing. Make the decision. Commit to it completely. And pour your energy into making it work rather than wondering if you chose correctly. When you become decisively action-oriented, several things happen. First, you generate momentum. Action creates energy. You start moving, which makes it easier to keep moving. Indecision drains energy. Second, you gather real information. Analysis gives you theoretical information. Action gives you actual data about what works. You learn more from 1 week of trying something than from 1 month of researching it. Third, you build confidence exponentially. Every decision you make and handle, regardless of outcome, proves you can make decisions and handle consequences. This creates a virtuous cycle. Fourth, you command respect. People respect decisiveness. Even if they disagree with your choice, they respect that you made one. Indecisiveness is universally unattractive. Decisiveness is universally impressive. Let me share a story. 2 companies identified the same market opportunity simultaneously. Company A spent 6 months doing market research, building projections, ensuring they had the perfect product. Company B spent 2 weeks building a basic version and launched immediately to test market response. Company B got real customer feedback within days. They iterated rapidly based on that feedback. Within 3 months, they had a product customers loved and were generating revenue. Company A launched 6 months later with a product built on assumptions. They spent another 6 months trying to fix what real customers told them didn't work. Which company had better information? Company B. Which moved faster? Company B. Which dominated the market? Company B. Not because they were smarter, because they were more decisive. Here's the mindset shift required. Decisions are not permanent. You're not choosing your final answer. You're choosing your next move. You can always make another decision based on new information. This removes the pressure of needing to choose perfectly. Think of it like driving. You don't need to see the entire route before you start. You just need to see far enough ahead to make the next turn. Then you see far enough for the turn after that. You navigate successfully by making a series of small, timely decisions. Dangerous confidence comes from proving to yourself repeatedly that you can make decisions, take action, and handle consequences. You build that proof through practice. Start today. Make every decision that comes up faster than feels comfortable. Will you make some suboptimal choices? Yes. Will any of them actually matter? No. But the pattern you're building matters tremendously. You're training yourself to be someone who acts instead of someone who deliberates endlessly. The dangerously confident know that a good decision made quickly and executed fully almost always beats a perfect decision made slowly and executed hesitantly. Because momentum matters. Because market conditions change. Because life rewards action. Make the decision. Take the action. Handle the outcome. Repeat. That's how you develop decisive confidence that changes everything. Chapter 4. Owning your presence in any room. Dangerously confident people have a quality when they enter a space. It's not loud. It's not aggressive. But it's undeniable. They take up space without apologizing for it. They command attention without demanding it. Their presence simply shifts the energy of the room. This isn't about being the center of attention. Some dangerously confident people are introverts who speak rarely. But when they do speak, everyone listens. It's about inhabiting your body and occupying your space with such certainty that others naturally orient toward you. Most people shrink. They make themselves smaller to avoid standing out. They slouch to take up less space. They speak quietly to avoid being too much. They second-guess their right to be in the room. All of this communicates uncertainty and invites dismissal. Owning your presence means the opposite of shrinking. It means expanding into your full physical and energetic space. Standing tall, speaking clearly, making eye contact, moving deliberately, acting as if you have every right to be exactly where you are, because you do. Here's the foundation. Alignment between your internal state and external expression. When your body language, voice, and energy all communicate the same message of certainty, people respond to that congruence viscerally. When there's incongruence, when your words say confidence, but your body says anxiety, people trust the body language more. Let's break down the components. First, posture. Your spine should be vertical, shoulders back but relaxed, chest open, head level. This isn't military rigidity. It's grounded confidence. When you stand or sit this way, you breathe better, think clearer, and feel more confident. Others perceive you as more competent and trustworthy. Try this right now. Slump in your chair, round your shoulders, look down. Notice how you feel. Now sit up straight, shoulders back, chest open, look forward. Feel the difference? Your body chemistry actually changes based on your posture. Powerful posture increases testosterone and decreases cortisol. Second component, eye contact. Dangerously confident people make strong, steady eye contact, not staring aggressively, just looking at people directly when speaking or listening. This communicates, I see you and I'm not afraid of being seen. Most people break eye contact quickly because it feels vulnerable. That's exactly why maintaining it is powerful. Practice this gradually. Start with 3-second eye contact in low-stakes situations. Build to 5 seconds. Then to holding eye contact comfortably for the duration of a conversation. You'll notice that when you can hold eye contact confidently, others either match you respect or break away first submission. Third component, space. How much physical space do you occupy? Dangerously confident people don't make themselves small. They sit with legs uncrossed, arms unfolded, taking up appropriate space. They stand with feet shoulder-width apart, stable and grounded. They gesture expansively when speaking. Notice how powerful people sit in meetings. They lean back. They put their materials on the table. They take up space comfortably. Compare this to insecure people. Hunched forward, arms close to body, materials in lap, minimizing presence. Fourth component, movement. Confident presence involves deliberate, purposeful movement. No fidgeting. No nervous adjustments. When you move, it's for a reason. You walk with purpose. You turn your whole body to face someone speaking. You make gestures that are smooth and controlled. Here's a powerful exercise. For 1 week, eliminate all nervous movements. No touching your face, playing with your hair, adjusting your clothes, tapping your feet, or fidgeting with objects. Just be still unless you have a purpose for moving. This is surprisingly difficult. Breaking these habits dramatically increases your presence. Fifth component, voice. Dangerously confident people speak with certainty. Their voice is clear, their pace is measured, their volume is appropriate. They don't uptalk, raising pitch at the end of sentences. They don't use excessive filler words. They pause instead of using and Record yourself speaking. Listen objectively. Do you sound confident? Most people don't. They speak too quickly, too quietly, with too much upward inflection. Practice speaking slower. Lower your pitch slightly. Project from your diaphragm, not your throat. Pause for emphasis. Sixth component, energy. This is subtle but crucial. Dangerously confident people have a centered, grounded energy. They're not buzzing with nervous energy. They're not projecting try-hard energy. They're simply present, grounded in their body, relaxed but alert. You can feel this energy shift through breath. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, filling your belly. Feel your body relax. Feel yourself drop into your body rather than being stuck in your head. This grounded state is what powerful presence feels like internally. Now, here's how to integrate all this in real situations. Before entering any room where presence matters, take 30 seconds to prepare. Stand tall, breathe deeply. Remind yourself that you belong there. This isn't fake confidence. It's deliberate state management. Enter the room as if you own it. Walk with purpose. Make eye contact. Take up appropriate space. Speak when you have something to say. And speak with certainty. Don't apologize for your presence or opinions. If you're meeting someone important, don't rush to fill silence with nervous chatter. Be comfortable with pauses. Let the other person speak first if they want. When you do speak, make it count. Quality over quantity. When you master presence, people take you more seriously. Your ideas carry more weight. You get opportunities you weren't getting before. Not because you've changed what you're saying, but because how you're saying it commands respect. I know a consultant who was constantly overlooked in client meetings despite having excellent ideas. She was brilliant but had weak presence. She spoke quietly, avoided eye contact, made herself small. After working on her presence, nothing else changed. Same expertise, same ideas, but suddenly clients were listening. Partners were seeking her input. Within a year, she was promoted twice. The difference, she started owning her space, standing tall, making eye contact, speaking with certainty, projecting the energy of someone who belongs. And everyone responded to that shift. Here's the truth. Presence isn't manipulation. You're not tricking anyone. You are simply expressing your actual confidence outwardly instead of hiding it. Most people have more internal confidence than their external presence communicates. The work is about alignment. Start today. Right now, adjust your posture. Sit or stand as if you're the most confident person in the world. Feel how that changes your internal state. Then carry that into every interaction today. Will it feel uncomfortable at first? Yes. Will some people respond with surprise? Possibly. But some people will respond with increased respect. And that's what matters. Dangerous confidence isn't just internal. It's expressed through presence. And presence is a skill you can develop deliberately, starting today. Chapter 5. The Art of Unshakable Composure. Composure under pressure separates the truly confident from those who only seem confident when things are going well. Anyone can appear confident in comfortable situations. Dangerous confidence shows itself in how you handle chaos, criticism, and crisis. Unshakable composure means your external demeanor remains steady regardless of internal turbulence. You don't panic when others panic. You don't lash out when provoked. You don't crumble under stress. You remain centered, thoughtful, and effective regardless of external circumstances. This isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about choosing your response instead of reacting automatically. Between stimulus and response, there's a gap. And that gap is your power. Composure is about widening that gap so you have space to choose deliberately. Imagine two managers receiving unexpected bad news in a meeting. Both feel the same internal spike of stress. Manager A's face goes red, voice gets loud, immediately starts blaming people. Manager B takes a slow breath, stays calm, asks clarifying questions, then methodically addresses the problem. Same situation, same initial internal reaction, completely different external response. Manager B has cultivated composure. Manager A hasn't. Who do you trust more? Obviously Manager B. Here's how to develop this level of composure. First foundation, breath control. Your breath is the bridge between your automatic nervous system and your conscious control. When stressed, breathing becomes shallow and rapid. This triggers more stress. By deliberately controlling your breath, you break that cycle. Practice tactical breathing. For seconds in through the nose. Hold for 4 seconds. For seconds out through the mouth. Hold for 4 seconds. Repeat. This pattern activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which calms your body. Do this daily for 2 minutes. Then, in stressful situations, your body will remember this pattern. Second foundation, the pause. Before responding to anything stressful, train yourself to pause for 3 seconds. Not a long pause. Just 3 seconds. Count them silently if you need to. In those 3 seconds, your initial emotional reaction loses intensity and your rational mind engages. I know an executive who became famous for his composure in high-pressure negotiations. His secret: he trained himself never to answer immediately. Someone makes an aggressive demand. Pause. 3 seconds. Then respond. Someone criticizes his proposal. Pause. 3 seconds. Then respond. This tiny habit made him appear infinitely more composed than he initially felt. Third foundation, reframing. Your emotional response to a situation depends on how you interpret it. Same situation, different interpretation, different emotion. You can choose your interpretation deliberately. Someone criticizes your work in a meeting. Interpretation 1. They're attacking me. They think I'm incompetent. Result: defensiveness, anger, composure lost. Interpretation 2. They're raising concerns about the project. I need to address those concerns. Result: curiosity, problem-solving focus, composure maintained. Train yourself to find the most useful interpretation of stressful situations. Not positive thinking that ignores reality. Useful framing that helps you respond effectively. Fourth foundation, detachment. This doesn't mean not caring. It means not over-identifying with outcomes. When you're attached to a specific outcome, any threat to that outcome triggers intense emotion. When you are detached, you can pursue outcomes effectively while remaining calm if they don't materialize. How do you develop detachment? By repeatedly reminding yourself that outcomes don't define you. Your worth isn't determined by whether this deal closes, whether this presentation goes well, whether this person likes you. You're valuable regardless. Fifth foundation, preparation. Much of composure comes from being prepared. When you've prepared thoroughly, you have less anxiety. You've anticipated problems. You've practiced responses. Preparation builds confidence, which enables composure. Now let's talk about specific situations. First, criticism. When someone criticizes you, your instinct is defensive reaction. Don't. Pause. Breathe. Listen to the full criticism without interrupting. Ask clarifying questions. Thank them for feedback. Consider whether it's valid. Respond thoughtfully. This level of composure in the face of criticism is incredibly powerful. Most people get defensive immediately. When you can hear criticism calmly and respond thoughtfully, you demonstrate supreme confidence. Second situation, conflict. When someone is angry or aggressive toward you, matching their energy escalates the situation. Instead, deliberately lower your energy. Speak more quietly, more slowly. Stay physically relaxed. Maintain eye contact, but keep your expression neutral. This often de-escalates the other person. I watched a customer service representative handle an irate customer. The customer was screaming, cursing, threatening. The representative never raised her voice, never got defensive. She just calmly said, "I understand you're frustrated. Let me see what I can do to help." Maintain composure completely. Within 2 minutes, the customer had calmed down. Why? Because her composure was contagious. Third situation, high-stakes pressure. Before any high-pressure situation, use a centering ritual. It could be specific breathing. It could be visualization. It could be a phrase you repeat. The content doesn't matter much. What matters is that you have a reliable way to access a calm, composed state on demand. Professional athletes do this constantly. Watch pre-game routines. Same sequence every time. Why? Because the routine triggers the psychological state they need. You can do the same. Fourth situation, unexpected setbacks. When something goes wrong unexpectedly, resist the urge to react immediately. Give yourself permission to feel disappointed or frustrated privately. Then shift to problem-solving mode. This happened. I can't change that. What's the best response now? This ability to shift quickly from reaction to response is one of the most valuable skills you can develop, and it comes from practice. Every time something goes wrong, you have an opportunity to practice composure. Here's what I want you to understand about composure. It's not natural. Everyone's default response to threat or stress is fight, flight, or freeze. Composure is a trained response that requires deliberate practice. You develop it by practicing it in real situations, repeatedly. Start with low-stakes practice. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Instead of reacting with anger, practice staying calm. Your coffee order is wrong. Instead of snapping at the barista, practice responding with composure. Build the skill with small situations, and it'll be available in big situations. When everyone around you is losing their heads and you remain calm, you become the person others look to for leadership. Composure under pressure marks you as someone special, someone trustworthy, someone who can handle responsibility. More personally, composure gives you back your power. When you react automatically to every stressor, external circumstances control you. When you respond with chosen composure, you control yourself. That's freedom. That's power. Your assignment for the next week: practice the 3-second pause before responding to anything that triggers emotion. Just that. 3 seconds before responding. See how it changes your reactions. See how it shifts your sense of control. Composure isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about being in control of your responses rather than controlled by your reactions. It's about choosing who you want to be in each moment. That choice, practiced consistently, becomes unshakable composure. Chapter 6. Speaking with authority. Words are tools, but how you deliver those words determines their impact. The same sentence can be persuasive or dismissible, depending on vocal tonality, pacing, and delivery. Dangerously confident people speak with an authority that makes others listen. Speaking with authority isn't about volume or aggression. It's about certainty, clarity, and conviction. It's about speaking as if what you're saying matters, because it does. It's about eliminating verbal habits that undermine your message. Let's start with the most common authority killer, uptalk. This is when you raise your pitch at the end of sentences, making statements sound like questions. I think we should launch in March. Even though you're making a statement, the rising inflection makes it sound like you're asking for permission. Record yourself speaking and listen for this. Most people are shocked to discover how much they uptalk. Every time you uptalk, you're communicating uncertainty. You're inviting others to dismiss your opinion. Stop doing it. Make your pitch drop at the end of statements. Second authority killer, excessive hedging. I kind of think, maybe we should. It might be good if. I'm not sure, but. These phrases are everywhere in uncertain speech. They're verbal escape routes. You're giving yourself permission to be wrong before you even say what you think. Confident speech eliminates hedges. Not, I kind of think we should pursue this strategy. Just, we should pursue this strategy. Here's why. The difference is dramatic. One sounds like a suggestion you can ignore. The other sounds like a recommendation you should take seriously. Third authority killer, excessive apologizing. Sorry, can I just add something? Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, this might be a stupid question. Every unnecessary sorry diminishes your authority. You're apologizing for your existence, your thoughts, your questions. Stop apologizing unless you've actually done something wrong. Instead of sorry to interrupt, try, I have something to add. Instead of sorry, stupid question, try, I'd like to understand this better. Watch how people respond differently when you stop apologizing for taking up space. Fourth authority killer, filler words. Basically literally. These words are verbal white noise. They make you sound uncertain and inarticulate. The more filler words you use, the less people trust what you're saying. Replace filler words with pauses. This is hard at first. You'll feel like the pause is awkward and eternal. It's not. It's usually less than 2 seconds. And those pauses make you sound thoughtful and deliberate instead of unsure and rambling. Now let's talk about what powerful speech includes. First, clarity. Get to the point quickly. Don't bury your main idea in a paragraph of preamble. Lead with the conclusion. We should launch in Q2 because of 3 factors. Is much stronger than a long story that eventually meanders to a recommendation. Business communication especially rewards clarity. The person who can articulate the core idea in one clear sentence has more influence than the person who takes 5 minutes to make the same point. Practice distilling your ideas to their essence. Second, specificity. Vague language lacks authority. We should improve customer service is weak. We should reduce customer service response time from 24 hours to 4 hours by implementing a new ticketing system is strong. Specific language sounds like you've thought things through. Third, conviction. Speak as if you believe what you're saying, not shouting or pounding the table. Just simple confidence in your words. The most persuasive people aren't the loudest. They're the ones who speak with quiet certainty. How do you develop conviction in your speech? By only speaking about things you actually believe. If you don't believe something, don't say it. This sounds simple, but most people regularly say things they don't believe to please others or avoid conflict. Every time you do this, you train yourself in unconvincing speech. Fourth, pacing. Anxious people speak quickly, trying to get their words out before someone interrupts. Confident people speak at a measured pace. They're not in a rush. They trust that their words are worth listening to, so they take their time delivering them. Practice speaking 20% slower than feels natural. At first, this will feel painfully slow. It's not. Record yourself and listen. The slow pace sounds confident and thoughtful. Your normal pace probably sounds rushed. Fifth, volume. You don't need to shout, but you need to project. Your voice should fill the space you're in. Practice speaking from your diaphragm rather than your throat. Take a deep breath. Feel it fill your belly and push the air out as you speak. This creates a fuller, more resonant voice. Now let's talk about the psychological aspect. Most people speak tentatively because they're worried about being wrong, sounding stupid, or being judged. These worries leak into their vocal tonality and word choices. The mindset shift required. Accept that you will sometimes be wrong, and that's fine. Speak with confidence anyway. Being confidently wrong occasionally is better than being tentatively right all the time, because the confident person's right ideas will be heard and implemented. This doesn't mean being arrogantly attached to being right. It means expressing your thoughts with clarity and conviction, while remaining open to new information. These aren't contradictory. You can say, I strongly believe we should do X, and also say, if you have information that changes my analysis, I want to hear it. Here's a practical exercise. Record yourself having a conversation or presenting an idea. Listen objectively. Count your filler words, hedges, and apologies. Identify one verbal habit to eliminate. Practice speaking without that habit for a week. Then eliminate another habit. Another exercise. Practice delivering the same sentence multiple ways. Take a simple sentence like, I think this is the right approach. Say it tentatively. Then say it with moderate confidence. Then say it with complete certainty. Feel the difference in your body. Notice how the certain version requires different breath, different posture, different energy. Watch videos of powerful speakers. Don't focus on what they say. Focus on how they say it. Notice their pacing. Notice their pauses. Notice their vocal variety. Notice when they get quiet for emphasis instead of loud. When you master authoritative speech, your ideas carry more weight. People take you more seriously. You're invited to more important conversations, not because your ideas got better, but because your delivery makes people want to listen. I know two consultants with equivalent expertise. One speaks tentatively, with hedges and apologies. The other speaks with clarity and conviction. The second consultant makes 3 times as much because clients trust what he says. Same knowledge, different delivery, dramatically different outcomes. Your voice is one of your most powerful tools for projecting confidence. It's how most people will experience your ideas and personality. Investing time in speaking with authority will pay dividends in every area of your life. Authority in speech isn't about dominating conversations. It's about ensuring that when you do speak, people listen. Quality over quantity. Make your words count by delivering them with conviction, clarity, and certainty. That's how dangerously confident people speak. Chapter 7. Building Physical Confidence. Your body and your confidence are intimately connected. How you move, how you hold yourself, your physical capabilities. All of these directly impact how confident you feel and how others perceive you. Physical confidence shows up in multiple dimensions. There's postural confidence, the way you carry your body. There's kinesthetic confidence, your comfort and awareness in your physical form. There's capability confidence, knowing your body can handle physical challenges. And there's aesthetic confidence, feeling good about how you look. Let's start with the foundation, posture and body language. Your posture literally changes your hormones and neurochemistry. Studies show that holding powerful postures for just 2 minutes increases testosterone and decreases cortisol, making you feel more confident and less stressed. Stand up right now. Feet shoulder width apart, spine straight, shoulders back, chest open, head level, arms relaxed at your sides. Hold this for 30 seconds. Notice how you feel. This is your body's powerful baseline. Compare this to how most people stand. Weight on one leg, shoulders rolled forward, head tilted down looking at phone, chest collapsed. Your default posture should be powerful, not rigid or stiff, just aligned and confident. This takes awareness and practice because years of poor posture habits have created compensations and tightness. But it's worth the effort because your posture affects everything. Every morning, spend 2 minutes in a power pose. Hands on hips, feet apart, chest open, looking up slightly, or arms raised in victory stance. This isn't silly. This is priming your nervous system for confidence. Do it before any important event. Beyond static posture, there's how you move through space. Dangerously confident people move with purpose and fluidity. Their movements are economical and deliberate. No excessive fidgeting. No nervous energy dissipating through random movements. Just purposeful action. Practice this for 1 full day. Eliminate all unnecessary movement. No fidgeting. No adjusting clothes repeatedly. No touching your face. No bouncing your leg. No playing with objects. Just be still unless you have a purpose for moving. This is incredibly hard because most people have dozens of nervous habits they're unaware of. Now let's talk about physical capability. There's a direct connection between physical fitness and confidence. When you know your body is strong, capable, and resilient, that knowledge transfers to psychological confidence. You move through the world differently when you're physically strong. You don't need to be an elite athlete. You just need to be strong enough, fit enough, capable enough that physical challenges don't intimidate you. You can lift heavy things. You can run if needed. You can play sports without embarrassing yourself. These capabilities provide a baseline of physical confidence that affects everything else. Strength training is particularly valuable because progress is objective and visible. You couldn't lift this weight last month. You can lift it now. That's concrete evidence of growth. Your body becomes proof of what you're capable of achieving through consistent effort. Cardiovascular fitness builds mental resilience. Running, cycling, swimming, any sustained cardio requires pushing through discomfort. Every time you do this, you prove you can handle discomfort and keep going. This lesson transfers directly to other areas of life. Martial arts or combat sports provide a unique form of physical confidence. When you spar with people trying to impose their will on you physically, and you've learned to remain calm and respond effectively, that confidence is irreplaceable. You've faced physical adversity and handled it. That knowledge sits deep in your nervous system. Everyone should have some physical practice that challenges them, makes them uncomfortable, and proves they can handle difficulty. Rock climbing, intense yoga, boxing, wrestling, CrossFit, something that demands physical and mental toughness. The lesson your body learns: I can push through difficulty. I'm stronger than I think. Discomfort won't kill me. These lessons make you more confident in all contexts, not just physical ones. Let's address aesthetic confidence. How you look matters, not because appearance determines your worth, but because when you feel good about how you look, you carry yourself differently. You're more likely to make eye contact, less likely to hide, more likely to put yourself in situations where you can be seen. This doesn't mean you need to be conventionally attractive. It means you should take care of your appearance intentionally. Wear clothes that fit well and make you feel confident. Maintain basic grooming and hygiene. Exercise not just for fitness, but because it makes your body look and feel better. When you start exercising regularly and taking care of your appearance, you become more confident, which makes you more attractive, which makes you more confident. It's a positive spiral. The opposite is also true. Neglecting your physical health and appearance creates a negative spiral of decreasing confidence. Now let's talk about body awareness and kinesthetic confidence. Most people are remarkably disconnected from their bodies. They live entirely in their heads, barely noticing physical sensations unless something hurts. This disconnection undermines confidence because you're not grounded in your physical presence. Practices like yoga, tai chi, dance, or any movement practice that requires body awareness help rebuild this connection. You become more aware of your posture, your breath, your physical state. This awareness allows you to use your body more intentionally to shift your emotional state. Here's a simple practice: body scan. Take 5 minutes daily to mentally scan through your body from head to toe. Notice sensations without judging them. Notice where you're holding tension. Notice your breath. This simple practice builds body awareness that translates to greater physical confidence and presence. Another powerful practice: cold exposure. Taking cold showers or ice baths builds tremendous confidence. Why? Because it forces you to deliberately choose discomfort and breathe through it. Every time you step into cold water and stay calm, you prove you can handle difficulty. Start with 30 seconds of cold water at the end of your normal shower. Build to 1 minute, then 2. Eventually, you might do full cold showers. The confidence you build from this practice transfers to everything else. Here's what I want you to understand. Your body is not separate from your confidence. Your body is the foundation of your confidence. When your body is strong, capable, well-maintained, and you're deeply aware of and comfortable in it, confidence flows naturally. The dangerously confident treat their body as an asset to develop and maintain. They exercise regularly. They eat reasonably well. They get adequate sleep. They practice movement. They build strength, not from vanity, but from the deep understanding that physical confidence is fundamental confidence. Start today. Stand in a power pose for 2 minutes. Do 20 push-ups. Go for a walk with perfect posture and deliberate movement. Take a cold shower. Just do something that builds physical confidence. Within weeks, you'll notice you carry yourself differently. Within months, you'll feel fundamentally more confident. Within a year, you'll be a different person physically and psychologically. All from the simple practice of deliberately building physical confidence. Your body is your home. Make it a strong, capable, confident home. That's how you build the physical foundation for dangerous confidence. Chapter 8. Mental Toughness and Resilience. Mental toughness is the ability to maintain focus, determination, and effectiveness under stress, pressure, or adversity. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. Together, these qualities form the psychological backbone of dangerous confidence. Here's the truth. Mental toughness isn't about not feeling difficulty. It's about feeling difficulty fully and continuing anyway. The mentally tough aren't numb to pain or stress. They just refuse to let pain or stress stop them from doing what needs to be done. Think about someone you know who's genuinely mentally tough. What makes them different isn't that they don't struggle. It's that struggle doesn't stop them. Mental toughness consists of several components. First, emotional regulation under stress. When something goes wrong, the mentally tough don't panic, freeze, or lash out. They feel the initial emotional reaction, then consciously choose their response. Second component, ability to endure discomfort without escape. Most people avoid discomfort automatically. They distract themselves, numb themselves, give up, or quit when things get uncomfortable. Mentally tough people can sit in discomfort indefinitely while continuing to function effectively. This capacity is trainable. Every time you stay in a difficult situation instead of escaping, you strengthen your tolerance for discomfort. Every time you do something hard even though you don't feel like it, you build mental toughness. Third component, focus maintenance under pressure. When stakes are high and pressure is intense, most people's cognitive performance decreases. Mentally tough people maintain laser focus on what matters even when everything is chaotic. You develop this through practice. Put yourself in situations with time pressure and high stakes. Public speaking is excellent for this. Competitive sports also build this capacity. When you're exhausted and losing, but you have to keep performing, that's mental toughness training. Fourth component, ability to reframe setbacks. Mentally tough people don't view setbacks as permanent or catastrophic. They view them as temporary obstacles to overcome or learning experiences to grow from. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what's useful about this situation? What can I learn? How can I use this? These questions shift your brain from victim mode to problem-solving mode. Fifth component, sustained effort in the absence of immediate reward. Most people need constant feedback and reward to maintain effort. Mentally tough people can work toward distant goals for extended periods without needing external validation. This is crucial because meaningful achievements take time. If you need constant external validation to keep going, you'll quit before reaching most worthwhile goals. Now let's talk about resilience. Resilience is your bounce-back ability. It's not about never getting knocked down. It's about how quickly and completely you recover when you do. Resilient people accept reality quickly. When something bad happens, they don't spend weeks in denial. They acknowledge what is, feel whatever emotions arise, and then shift to what now. They don't waste energy wishing things were different. Second, they maintain perspective. They can distinguish between serious problems and minor inconveniences. They don't catastrophize small setbacks. Third, they have strong support systems. Resilience isn't rugged individualism. It's knowing when to ask for help and having people who will provide it. Fourth, they take care of themselves during adversity. When things are hard, many people neglect sleep, exercise, and nutrition. Resilient people do the opposite. They protect their fundamentals because they know they need their full capacity. Fifth, they find meaning in adversity. This doesn't mean they're glad bad things happened. It means they can identify ways that difficulty led to growth or taught important lessons. Here's how to build mental toughness and resilience systematically. First, embrace voluntary hardship. Don't wait for life to give you challenges. Seek them out deliberately. Take cold showers. Do difficult workouts. Fast occasionally. Have difficult conversations. Why? Because voluntary hardship builds your capacity to handle involuntary hardship. When you regularly choose discomfort, you prove to yourself that you can handle it. Second, develop a catastrophe budget. Most people are mentally unprepared for setbacks because they assume things will always go well. Instead, expect that some percentage of things will go wrong. When 8 out of 10 things work out, you're doing well. This mental framing prevents you from being blindsided by normal setbacks. You're not devastated when something goes wrong because you expected that some things would. Third, build your distress tolerance gradually. Start with small discomforts and work your way up. Hold a plank until you want to quit, then hold for 10 more seconds. That's distress tolerance training. Fourth, practice stress inoculation. Deliberately put yourself in moderate stress situations regularly so that when high stress situations arise, your nervous system knows how to handle them. Fifth, develop a mental resilience practice. This could be meditation, journaling, therapy, or coaching. Something that helps you process experiences, maintain perspective, and recover from setbacks. Let me share a story. I know an entrepreneur who lost everything in a business failure. Bankruptcy, marriage ended, had to move back in with parents at 40. He was devastated for 2 weeks. Then he got a job, started saving, and within 18 months had started another business. Within 5 years, he'd rebuilt everything. What made the difference? Mental toughness and resilience. He felt the pain fully, but didn't let it stop him. He accepted the reality quickly and shifted to problem solving. He maintained perspective that this was a setback, not the end. He asked for help when needed. He took care of his health. You can develop the same capacity. It's not about your natural disposition. It's about your practices and your framing. Start today. Do something uncomfortable. Reframe a setback. Ask for support. Take care of yourself. Because here's the truth. Life will test you. You will face setbacks, losses, and difficulties. The question is whether you will have built the mental toughness and resilience to handle them effectively. Dangerous confidence isn't just about performing well when things are easy. It's about sustaining excellence under pressure and bouncing back quickly from setbacks. Mental toughness and resilience make that possible. Chapter 9. Social Fearlessness. Most people live in a quiet prison of social fear. Fear of rejection, judgment, embarrassment, conflict. These fears limit what they say, where they go, who they meet, what they attempt. Social fearlessness means freeing yourself from this prison. Social fearlessness doesn't mean being extroverted or loving social interaction. It means that social anxiety doesn't control your choices. You can attend networking events even if they're uncomfortable. You can start conversations with strangers when you want to. Your social discomfort doesn't stop you from taking action. Let's be clear about what creates social fear. It's not the social situation itself. It's your predictions about what might happen and what that might mean. You predict rejection, embarrassment, or judgment. You interpret those outcomes as catastrophic to your self-worth. This makes social situations feel dangerous. The path to social fearlessness requires challenging both the predictions and the interpretations. First, challenge the predictions. What's the worst that could actually happen? Be specific. You approach someone at an event and start a conversation. Worst realistic outcome? They're polite but uninterested and excuse themselves after a minute. Is that actually terrible? No. It's mildly uncomfortable for 60 seconds. But your brain predicts this as catastrophic, which creates fear. When you force yourself to identify the worst realistic outcome specifically, you often realize it's quite mild. This takes the edge off the fear. Second, challenge the interpretation. Even if the worst realistic outcome happens, what does it actually mean? If someone isn't interested in talking to you, does that mean you're worthless? Obviously not. It means that specific person wasn't interested in that specific conversation at that specific time. Your fear brain interprets rejection as evidence of your fundamental inadequacy. Challenge that interpretation ruthlessly. Rejection is information about fit, timing, and other people's preferences. It's not information about your worth. Here's how to build social fearlessness systematically. Start with small social challenges and work your way up. The principle is gradual exposure with success experiences. Small challenges. Make eye contact and smile at strangers. Ask someone for directions, even when you don't need them. Make small talk with cashiers. Compliment someone genuinely. Medium challenges. Start conversations with people at social events. Ask questions in group settings. Share personal opinions when they differ from the group. Attend events alone. Large challenges. Give a presentation. Go to a party where you know no one. Cold email someone impressive asking for advice. Post your thoughts publicly online. The progression is important. Don't start with the large challenges. You'll fail, reinforce your fear, and make things worse. Start small. Succeed repeatedly. Build confidence. Then escalate. Here's a specific technique. Rejection therapy. Deliberately put yourself in situations where rejection is likely, specifically to desensitize yourself to rejection. The entrepreneur Jia Zhang did this famously, making absurd requests of strangers for 100 days to become immune to rejection. You don't need 100 days, but spending 1 week making requests you expect will be rejected teaches your nervous system that rejection is survivable and meaningless. Ask for discounts you don't expect to get. Invite people to things you expect they'll decline. Get rejected repeatedly. Notice that you're completely fine. Another powerful practice, social exposure challenges. Once per week, do something socially uncomfortable. Go somewhere alone. Talk to someone intimidating. Share something personal. Speak up when you normally wouldn't. Each time you do this, you prove you can handle social discomfort. Your fear has less power because you've experienced repeatedly that the feared outcome either doesn't happen or isn't actually terrible when it does. Let's talk about specific social fears. Fear of public speaking is nearly universal. The solution? Speak publicly more often. Join Toastmasters or take improv classes. The exposure effect is powerful. What's terrifying the first time becomes merely uncomfortable by the 10th time. Fear of networking events? Attend them regularly with the specific goal. Talk to exactly 3 new people per event. Having a concrete goal makes it less overwhelming. Fear of approaching people you're attracted to? Use the 3-second rule. When you see someone you want to talk to, approach within 3 seconds before your fear brain can talk you out of it. Fear of conflict or disagreement. Practice expressing disagreement in low-stakes situations. Actually, I see it differently. Start with minor disagreements. Build your comfort with the tension of not agreeing. Here's what happens as you build social fearlessness. First, your social opportunities expand dramatically. You meet more people, create more connections, access more possibilities. Second, you become more authentic. When you're not afraid of judgment, you can be yourself. You don't need to perform or hide. This authenticity is attractive. Third, you take more social risks that sometimes lead to exceptional outcomes. You start a conversation that becomes a friendship. You share an idea that becomes a collaboration. Fourth, you develop genuine social confidence, not techniques or scripts. Actual comfort in social situations that comes from proven track record. Let me be honest. You won't eliminate all social discomfort. Socially fearless people still feel nervous sometimes. The difference is, they don't let the nervousness stop them. They act despite discomfort. I know someone who was cripplingly socially anxious in their 20s, couldn't make small talk, avoided all social events, dreaded any situation requiring interaction with new people. They decided this was unacceptable and committed to social fearlessness training. They forced themselves to attend social events, start conversations, take improv classes. 5 years later, they're comfortable in any social situation. Are they extroverted now? No. Do they love networking? No. But they can do it easily when needed. Social situations aren't painful anymore. They're just mildly effortful, like any other skill. You can do the same. It requires commitment and consistency. You need to regularly put yourself in socially uncomfortable situations for months. But the payoff is enormous. Start this week. Pick one small social challenge. Do it. Notice that you survive. Pick another challenge next week. Build your social fearlessness, gradually but deliberately. This is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. So much of success in life depends on relationships, and relationships depend on social interaction. When you're socially fearless, you can build the relationships that create opportunities. Dangerous confidence includes social fearlessness, the confidence to walk into any room, talk to anyone, express yourself authentically, handle rejection easily. Build this capacity deliberately. Chapter 10. Handling criticism like armor. Criticism will come. If you do anything meaningful, if you express yourself authentically, if you take any kind of stand, people will criticize you. The dangerously confident aren't immune to criticism. They've just developed the ability to handle it in ways that don't diminish their confidence. Most people handle criticism poorly. They either become defensive and dismissive, or they take it personally and spiral into self-doubt. Neither response is useful. Defensive dismissal means you can't learn from valid feedback. Personal devastation means your confidence is hostage to others' opinions. There's a third way, treating criticism like armor. Every piece of criticism either makes you stronger by teaching you something or bounces off harmlessly because it's not accurate. Either way, you're fine. First, understand that criticism tells you more about the critic than about you. When someone criticizes you, they're revealing their values, standards, preferences, and triggers. This doesn't make their criticism wrong, but it does make it subjective. This understanding prevents you from treating all criticism as factual. Someone says your work is terrible. That's their subjective judgment based on their standards. It might be accurate. It might not be. You need to investigate, not just accept or reject automatically. Second, separate valid criticism from invalid criticism. Valid criticism is specific, actionable, and comes from someone with relevant expertise. Invalid criticism is vague, emotionally charged, and often comes from someone with no actual knowledge of your situation. This proposal lacks concrete data to support the main claims, is valid criticism. This is stupid and you don't know what you're doing, is invalid criticism. The first gives you something specific to address. The second is just emotional noise. Practice categorizing criticism immediately. Valid or invalid. If valid, what specifically should I address? If invalid, discard and move on. Don't spend emotional energy on invalid criticism. Third, extract the useful information from valid criticism without accepting the emotional framing. Someone might deliver valid feedback in a harsh, judgmental way. You can extract the useful information. This aspect needs improvement without accepting the judgment, I'm incompetent. This is like panning for gold. You're sorting through material to find the valuable pieces while discarding everything else. Someone gives you criticism. What's the gold here? What's actually useful? That's what you keep. Everything else gets discarded. Fourth, recognize that criticism stings less when your self-worth isn't conditional on external validation. If you believe your worth depends on being perfect, then any criticism is threatening. If you know your worth is inherent and constant, then criticism is just information about how to improve. If criticism devastates you, it's not because the criticism is so terrible. It's because your sense of worth is fragile. Strengthen your foundation of unconditional self-worth, and criticism loses its power to hurt you. Fifth, develop the practice of thanking people for criticism even when it stings. Thank you for that feedback. I'll think about it. This prevents you from reacting defensively in the moment, and it trains your brain that criticism isn't dangerous. It's just information. Here's a specific practice: soliciting criticism deliberately. Instead of waiting for criticism to come to you, go find it. Ask people, what's one thing I can improve? Where do you see weaknesses in this work? When you seek criticism actively, it loses its power to hurt you. You're in control. You're using it as a tool for improvement. Now let's address the criticism that comes from envy or insecurity. Sometimes people criticize you not because of any actual flaw in your work, but because your success triggers their own insecurities. They're lashing out from their own pain. How do you handle this? With compassion, but without taking it seriously. I understand this bothers you, followed by zero change in your behavior. You can have empathy for their discomfort without letting it dictate your choices. Remember, people who are truly confident and fulfilled don't waste energy tearing others down. Harsh criticism often reveals more about the critic's insecurities than about your actual flaws. Let's talk about public criticism, which feels particularly painful because of the audience. Someone criticizes you in front of others. Your instinct is to defend yourself immediately. Resist that instinct. Instead, pause. Thank them for their perspective. Say you'll think about it, then move on. This response demonstrates confidence. You're not rattled. You're not defensive. Here's a story. I know a designer who presented work to a client. The client's response: "This is awful. Did you even try?" Harsh public criticism. The designer's response: "I hear that this doesn't meet your expectations. Let's talk specifically about what's not working so I can address it." No defensiveness. No emotional reaction. Just calm redirection to productive conversation. The client, deprived of the emotional reaction they were fishing for, quickly shifted to more specific feedback. The designer incorporated the valid points and delivered excellent revised work. That's handling criticism like armor. It didn't penetrate. It didn't trigger defense or devastation. It was simply redirected into useful channels. Now, here's an important truth. Not all criticism deserves a response. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. If someone's criticizing you in bad faith, with no genuine attempt to be helpful, you don't owe them your energy. This is particularly important with online criticism. The internet enables anyone to criticize anything. If you respond to every critical comment, you'll have no time for actual work. Develop the discipline to not engage with criticism that's clearly not constructive. Ask yourself, is this person trying to help or trying to hurt? Is this specific and actionable or vague and emotional? Is this person in a position to actually know whether their criticism is valid? If the answers are trying to hurt, vague and emotional, and no position to know, then ignore it completely. Here's the powerful mindset shift. See criticism as evidence that you're doing something significant. People who do nothing receive no criticism because no one notices them. Criticism means you're visible. You're making an impact. The most criticized people are often the most successful. Why? Because they're doing things that matter, which means people have opinions. If you want to be completely free from criticism, do nothing. Say nothing, be nothing. So when you receive criticism, especially harsh criticism, one part of you can actually celebrate. I'm doing something significant enough that people have strong reactions. Good. This doesn't mean all criticism is invalid. It means criticism is a sign you're in the arena, which is where you should be. Final point. Don't let criticism stop you from sharing your work, expressing your ideas, or taking stands. The dangerously confident understand that if your work is meaningful to you, that's enough justification to do it. Create your work for yourself and the people it resonates with. Let the critics criticize. It changes nothing about whether your work is valuable. Extract useful information when it's available. Discard everything else. Keep creating. That's how you handle criticism like armor. It either strengthens you through the valid feedback you extract, or it bounces off harmlessly when it's not relevant. Either way, you're fine. Your confidence remains intact. Your work continues. That's what matters. Conclusion. Living as your most confident self. Everything we've covered leads to this final integration. Living consistently as your most confident self. Not occasionally. Not just when you feel good or when circumstances are favorable. Consistently as your normal way of being. This is where dangerous confidence stops being something you do and becomes something you are. It's no longer a performance or a practice. It's your identity. It's how you naturally show up in the world. Let's talk about what this integrated confident state looks like. First, automatic confident behavior. You walk into rooms with natural confident presence. You speak with automatic authority. You make decisions quickly without second guessing. You take bold action without excessive deliberation. These behaviors are no longer forced. They're natural defaults. Second, emotional resilience. Setbacks don't shake you for long. Criticism doesn't derail you. Rejection doesn't devastate you. Pressure doesn't overwhelm you. You experience these things. They affect you momentarily, but you return to your centered, confident state quickly. Third, consistent energy. Your default energetic state is positive, vibrant, and magnetic. You're not constantly up and down emotionally. You maintain relatively stable positive energy, regardless of external circumstances. Fourth, integrated self-talk. Your internal dialogue is automatically supportive. You don't have to consciously interrupt negative thoughts constantly because they arise much less frequently. Your default self-talk is encouraging, realistic, and growth-oriented. Fifth, effortless boundaries. Saying no doesn't require effort. You naturally protect your time and energy because you're clear on your priorities. You don't over-explain or apologize. This integrated state is where you're heading. Understanding what you're building toward helps you make better decisions about where to focus your practice. Here's how this integration happens. First, through repetition. You practice the behaviors and mindsets we've discussed until they become automatic. This takes time, probably at least a year of consistent practice, maybe several years. But through repetition, what starts as conscious practice becomes unconscious habit. Second, through identity shift. As you consistently practice confident behaviors, your identity gradually shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to be confident and start seeing yourself as someone who is confident. This identity shift is crucial because you automatically act consistently with your identity. Third, through proven track record. As you accumulate experiences of handling challenges successfully, taking risks that work out, recovering from setbacks, your confidence becomes evidence-based. It's not just belief. It's certainty based on repeated proof. Fourth, through integration of all the pieces. Dangerous confidence isn't just one thing. It's posture plus communication plus decision-making plus risk-taking plus emotional regulation plus social fearlessness plus mental toughness plus everything else. As all these pieces come together, they reinforce each other and create stable, integrated confidence. Now, let's address what often derails people on this path. First obstacle, inconsistency. They practice for a while, see some progress, then stop practicing. Confidence starts to decline. They get discouraged. They give up. Solution: commit to consistent practice regardless of results. Some days will feel like regression. That's normal. Keep practicing. Progress isn't linear. As long as you're consistent, you're moving forward even when it doesn't feel like it. Second obstacle, perfectionism. They expect to master everything immediately. When they still feel anxious sometimes or handle something poorly, they decide they're failing. Solution: expect imperfection. You're learning. You'll still have bad days, moments of self-doubt, times you handle things poorly. That's part of the process. What matters is the trend over months and years. Third obstacle, context collapse. They practice confidence in easy situations, but revert to old patterns in challenging ones. They're confident at home, but anxious at work. Solution: deliberately practice in progressively more challenging contexts. Start where you're comfortable, but gradually push into situations where your confidence is tested. That's where the real integration happens. Fourth obstacle, external validation seeking. They're building confidence, but still measuring their worth by others' responses. When they get positive feedback, they feel confident. When they get negative feedback, they crash. Solution: make your confidence truly internal. Practice being confident regardless of external responses. You're confident because of who you are and what you can do, not because of what others think. Here's a practice for integrating everything. The confident self-exercise. Each week, identify one situation where you struggled to be confident. Then ask yourself, how would my most confident self have handled that? Visualize your most confident self handling the situation. See specifically what they do. Hear what they say. Feel their energy and presence. Then practice acting as that confident self in similar situations. Another integration practice, morning confidence ritual. Spend 10 minutes each morning activating your confident state before engaging with the day. Stand in a power pose. Practice confident vocal tonality. Visualize yourself handling the day's challenges with confidence. This isn't fake confidence. It's deliberate state management. You're priming your nervous system to access confident states more readily throughout the day. As these practices become habitual and your identity shifts, dangerous confidence becomes your natural state. You're not trying to be confident. You simply are confident. Here's what happens when you reach this integrated state. First, life becomes easier. You're not fighting internal resistance constantly. You're not second-guessing every decision. You're not paralyzed by social anxiety. You move through life with much less internal friction. Second, opportunities appear. When you're consistently confident, people notice. They want to work with you. They want to collaborate with you. They want to invest in you. Opportunities come to you instead of you having to chase them. Third, you become who you were always meant to be. This integrated confident state isn't something foreign you're putting on. It's your authentic self, finally unobstructed by fear and doubt. Fourth, you inspire others. When people see you living with dangerous confidence, it gives them permission to develop their own. Your confidence becomes contagious. You elevate everyone around you. Let me tell you about someone who completed this journey. 10 years ago, she was crippled by self-doubt, social anxiety, and fear of taking risks. She could barely make eye contact. She never spoke up in meetings. She stayed in a job she hated because she was terrified of trying anything new. She committed to building dangerous confidence. She practiced daily. She faced fears repeatedly. She took small risks that gradually became bigger risks. She worked on her posture, her voice, her physical fitness, her mental toughness. She learned to handle criticism and say no. She built social fearlessness. The transformation took years. There were setbacks. There were times she wanted to quit, but she persisted. Gradually, the confident behaviors became more natural. Her identity shifted. Evidence accumulated. Today, she's a different person. She starts conversations with anyone. She speaks confidently in any setting. She takes bold risks regularly. She's built a successful business. She's comfortable in her own skin in a way she never thought possible. The difference between her and most people? She did the work, consistently, for years. She didn't just read about confidence. She built it deliberately, one practice at a time. You can do the same. You have everything you need. You know what to practice. You know how to practice it. The only question is, will you? Will you commit to building dangerous confidence? Will you practice daily, even when it's uncomfortable? Will you persist through setbacks? Will you keep going until confident behavior becomes your natural state? If the answer is yes, then you're about to transform your life. Not overnight, not through magic, but through consistent, deliberate practice of the principles we've discussed. Dangerous confidence awaits you. The confident, bold, fearless version of yourself is there, waiting for you to claim it. All that's standing between you and that person is consistent action. So start today. Start right now. Choose one practice from this book and do it. Then tomorrow, do it again. Then the day after that. Build the momentum. Create the identity. Accumulate the evidence. Within months, you'll be a different person. Within a year, you'll barely recognize your former self. Within years, you'll be living as someone dangerously confident, and it will feel as natural as breathing. This is your invitation. This is your opportunity. This is your chance to become the person you've always known you could be. The only question is, will you take it? I believe you will. Because you're here. You've read this far. You're someone who wants more, who knows they're capable of more, who's ready to claim their dangerous confidence. So go. Take action. Build your confidence. Become dangerously confident. The world is waiting for the person you're about to become. Subscribe to our channel. If this audiobook resonated with you, if these principles inspired you to step into your dangerous confidence, then I have one request. Subscribe to our channel and join our community of people committed to fearless self-development. Why subscribe? Because transformation isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing journey. We're constantly creating content designed to help you become the most confident version of yourself. More audiobooks on confidence, courage, mental toughness, and personal power. By subscribing, you're joining a community of like-minded people who refuse to play small, who are committed to becoming dangerously confident. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and become part of our tribe of the dangerously confident. And one more thing, share this with someone who needs to hear it. We all know people who are capable of so much more, but are held back by self-doubt. Share this message with them. Your simple act of sharing could transform their life. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being ready to develop dangerous confidence. Now go show the world what dangerous confidence looks like, because you're ready. See you in the next one. Appendix: Dangerous Confidence in Specific Contexts. Let me give you specific guidance on how to apply dangerous confidence in the most common high-stakes situations you'll face. In job interviews, before the interview, spend 2 minutes in a power pose. Remind yourself, you're not begging for a job. You're evaluating whether this is a good mutual fit. Enter the room as if you already belong there. Make strong eye contact with everyone. Sit up straight, take up appropriate space. When asked questions, pause briefly before answering. This makes you appear thoughtful rather than nervous. Speak with certainty about your abilities. Instead of, "I think I could be good at this," say, "I'm confident I can deliver excellent results in this role because." End the interview by asking directly, "Do you have any concerns about my fit for this role?" This confident move often impresses interviewers and gives you a chance to address any objections. In negotiations, the most confident negotiator often wins, even with the weaker position. Before any negotiation, get clear on your walkaway point. Knowing you're willing to walk away gives you enormous power. During the negotiation, use silence as a weapon. After stating your position or hearing an offer, pause. Let them sit with the silence. Most people get uncomfortable and start talking, often making concessions. Speak slowly and deliberately. Don't rush to fill every pause. Project the energy of someone who has options and isn't desperate. Even if you are desperate, don't show it. Remember, whoever cares less wins. Channel that energy. In presentations, preparation builds confidence, so prepare thoroughly. But then, once you're prepared, let it go. Don't memorize every word. Know your key points and trust yourself to articulate them. Before presenting, do power poses and tactical breathing. Enter the room with certainty. Take your time getting set up. Confident presenters aren't rushed. Make eye contact with different people throughout the room. Speak slower than feels natural. Pause for emphasis. If you don't know an answer to a question, say confidently, "I don't have that information with me, but I'll get it to you by end of day." Don't apologize or make excuses. Confident presenters don't know everything. They're just honest about what they know and don't know. In conflicts, composure wins conflicts. The person who stays calm while others get emotional has enormous power. When someone is angry at you, lower your energy rather than matching theirs. Speak more quietly and more slowly. This often de-escalates them. Make direct eye contact, but keep your expression neutral. Don't defensive. Listen to their full complaint without interrupting. Then acknowledge their emotion. "I hear that you're frustrated." Pause. Then address the issue calmly. If they're completely out of line, you can set boundaries firmly but calmly. "I'm willing to discuss this," when you can speak respectfully. Then walk away if needed. Confident people don't tolerate abuse, but they don't get pulled into emotional drama either. In dating and relationships, desperate energy repels. Confident energy attracts. Whether you're on a first date or in a long-term relationship, the principle is the same. Be genuinely interested in the other person without being needy for their approval. Ask questions and listen genuinely. Share about yourself authentically without performing or trying to impress. Be honest about what you want. If you're looking for a relationship, say so. If you're not, say so. Confident people don't play games or hide their intentions. They're direct. If someone isn't interested or doesn't treat you well, they walk away without drama. They know their worth isn't determined by any one person's opinion. In performance situations, sports, arts, etc., pressure is a privilege. Reframe high-stakes moments as opportunities rather than threats. Before performing, focus on your breath and your body. Get grounded. Remind yourself that you've prepared and you're ready. During performance, stay present. Don't think about outcomes. Don't catastrophize about mistakes. Just focus on this moment, this action, this note, this shot. If you make a mistake, let it go immediately. Confident performers don't dwell on errors. They refocus instantly on the next moment. After performing, regardless of outcome, acknowledge what you did well before analyzing what could improve. This builds confidence over time rather than eroding it. In leadership situations, leaders set the emotional tone. If you're anxious, your team will be anxious. If you're confident, your team will be confident. Before leading any meeting or initiative, get yourself into a confident state first. Then bring that energy to your team. Communicate with clarity and certainty. Here's what we're doing and why. Not tentative or asking permission. Clear direction. At the same time, be open to input. Confident leaders aren't threatened by other people's ideas. Ask for perspectives. Listen genuinely. Then make decisions decisively. Don't overthink or try to make everyone happy. Make the best decision you can with available information and move forward. When things go wrong, take responsibility without making excuses. When things go well, give credit to your team. This combination of decisive action and genuine humility is the mark of dangerously confident leadership. In financial discussions, money conversations make many people uncomfortable, which gives confident people enormous advantage. When discussing salary, rates, or prices, state your number clearly and then be silent. Don't justify. Don't apologize. Just state it and wait. If they counter, pause before responding. Consider their offer calmly. Then either accept, counter, or walk away. All with composure. Don't get emotional about money. It's not personal. It's business. Confident people know their worth and communicate it clearly. They're willing to walk away from offers that don't meet their standards. This willingness to walk away actually increases how much others are willing to pay. In crisis situations, crises reveal character. Confident people don't panic in emergencies. They assess quickly and act decisively. First, take a breath. 3 seconds of calm before reacting can make the difference between effective action and panic. Then, assess the situation objectively. What's actually happening? What are the real risks? What needs to happen immediately? Make fast decisions with imperfect information. Perfect information isn't available in crisis. Make the best decision you can with what you have. Act on it, and adjust as you learn more. Communicate clearly with everyone affected. Keep your voice calm and your message clear. People look to confident leaders in crisis. Be that person. The common thread through all these situations is the same. Composure, clarity, certainty, and action. Regardless of the specific context, dangerous confidence looks like remaining calm, speaking clearly, making decisions confidently, and taking action without excessive hesitation. Practice these approaches in lower-stakes versions of these situations. Build your confidence gradually. Then, when high-stakes moments arrive, you'll have proven patterns to rely on. Remember, context changes, but confidence remains consistent. The way you show up in one area of life tends to reflect how you show up everywhere. Build dangerous confidence in any context, and it will spread to all contexts. One last thought, the ripple effect. Before we part, I want you to understand something important about the journey you're beginning. Building dangerous confidence doesn't just change your life. It changes the lives of everyone around you. When you step into your confidence, you give others permission to step into theirs. When you take bold action, you inspire others to be bold. When you speak your truth, you encourage others to speak theirs. When you refuse to play small, you challenge others to expand. Your confidence creates a ripple effect. Your children, if you have them, will learn confidence from watching you. Your friends will be emboldened by your example. Your colleagues will raise their standards because of your presence. Even strangers you interact with briefly will be affected by the energy you bring. This means your choice to build confidence isn't just personal. It's communal. You're not just doing this for yourself. You're doing it for everyone whose life you touch. Think about the most confident person you know. How has their confidence affected you? Probably positively. Probably inspiring. Their confidence hasn't diminished you. It's elevated you. You can be that person for others. Not by being perfect. Not by never struggling. But by consistently choosing courage, growth, and authentic self-expression. This is your legacy. Not just what you achieve, but who you become and how that impacts others. So as you build your dangerous confidence, remember, you're not just transforming yourself. You're transforming your corner of the world. The energy you bring into spaces changes those spaces. The example you set influences everyone watching. Be the person who shows others what's possible. Be the one who goes first. Be the one who has the courage to be fully themselves. The world needs your dangerous confidence. Not someday. Now, go be dangerously confident. The ripple effect starts with you. Ready to transform how you show up in the world. So do it. Starting now. Take action. Build your confidence. Become dangerously confident. And when you do, when you're living as that person, remember this moment. Remember when you made the decision to stop playing small and start living boldly. Your dangerous confidence awaits. Go claim it.